So my neighbor dropped this here saw off. I've had it back and forth here a few times this year, just sharpening the chain and whatever else. But I looked back in my videos and it was 5 years ago that I rebuilt this. Originally the crank seals were bad in it and it was idling really erratically. So I went to tear it apart in the crankcase. I got it around here somewhere. I still have it yet, but the crankcase was all wallered out where the bearings are, so I needed whole new cases and everything, so I ended up getting a 036 case for it. And then the top end wasn't very good. The piston was all screwed up, so I ended up putting a different piston in here and cylinder, aftermarket kit. But right now, came back and she's tight as a drum, so it's probably going to need another rebuild. And then it's another one of his saws there. That's a 55 Rancher Husqvarna. The case is cracked on that on the bottom. The only good way to fix it, I don't know when I'll get around to it, but the only real way to fix this here is just to get a whole nother case for it, because that piece mounts in there. But I'm not too worried about that right now. Basically going to work on this one, try and get it going for him. I did work on this here too for him. He brought that. It wouldn't start. It was flooded out from probably pulling on it, and then the spark plug wire where the cap pushes onto the wire itself, there's like a little piece of metal that sticks in there kind of like an electrode. That was not getting a good connection, so I fixed that. Got that going, but right now I'm gonna start tearing this apart. I ain't got my GoPro. I don't know what happened to it. I can't find it. I think I left it either in the harvester or it rolled underneath the seat or something somewhere. It's probably just time for an upgrade someday anyways, because it's getting kind of junky. But I'm gonna start tearing this apart, show you what I find as I go. I got it this far already here, and look in. It's pretty carboned up, and there's some scoring on that piston, and then sitting on top of that piston I could see through the spark plug hole was that right there, and that's a needle bearing for either the bottom end crank bearing or the wrist pin bearing. Well, one way to find out, I guess, I'm going to have to go take and blow all the crud off of here and try and pry this head off of it. Yeah, get the top handle off, this guy, and then I'll have to probably, I guess I'll have to pull the carb off too and stuff and get that all out of my way. But it won't be long here, another 10 minutes, and I'll have her torn apart. Got it off, but there was a heck of a job. Had to take and flip this down like this, and then I found a socket and I set the socket underneath it like that, and then I had the piston sitting on top of the socket somewhat so that I could take a punch and push this wrist pin here through, and those are all the little needle bearings that fall out of it, and I don't even see the plastic cage for it. I don't even know where that's even at. It sure ain't here. But this thing, like all that marring on there, that's not from me. That's from whatever's going on with it. But I'd say it's time for a rebuild. I took and held it upside down and I spun it over pretty good, and I mean, it's pretty dirty in there. I'm going to have to clean it all up and everything because there's pieces of metal and whatever else in here. Just crap. I'll have to blow it out really good and get a rebuild for it, put it back together. Bottom end seems good. All bearings are in the bottom, and the rod's not all burnt up. I mean, it's got a little bit of heat to it, but that ain't really nothing. I've seen them where the whole thing's just shot. So there's a good amount of life left there yet, and I mean, this thing's toast. So I have to go on to Duke's and see what I can find, because that's where I'm going to order it from for them. They seem to have pretty good luck with their parts, so that's where I'm going to order it from. But well, that's a teardown on that for now until parts come for it. So got stuff separated here. Those are my head bolts, and then I always plug the decompression port, because sometimes decompression buttons, they'll get like carbon built up on them and they don't function correctly. You lose compression, run lean, blah blah blah. I always plug them, but yeah, that's that thing. It's not very good. If I get a 2-ring piston, I'm only going to put 1 ring on it, because that's all I seem to do with all the rest, and they're just fine. Yeah, I don't know what else to show you guys other than, I mean, yeah, she's toast. I'll have to take that off and put it on the new head. Probably that stud right there too. I'll have to go on the new head. I don't think it'll come with it. But that's that for now. I'll go get a rag and cover that up. Let the neighbor know what it's going to need, and tell him how to order parts. So talk to y'all later.